Miguel de Allende is the heart of Mexico, and Travel and Leisure magazine has named it the best city in the world twice. But it's also a controversial city, and many people say gentrification is so out of control that only wealthy Mexicans and rich expats can afford to live here. Now, that's not usually the kind of city that I like to visit, but we are in nearby Guanajuato. We decided to take a day trip here to find out for ourselves. Because the city is also so rich in history and culture, there has to be a non-gentrified side. So we're starting today with breakfast at the market. Now, there is a big market in the center of SMA, but we are actually headed to one that's outside the UNESCO Heritage Zone. It's just a 15-minute walk from the bus station, and it's a local market. Hola, buenos días. ¿Tiene pollo? ¿Tiene pollo?
No, todavía no.
Ok, gracias. Hola, buenos días. ¿Tiene pollo? No, no tiene huevos.
Mira, lo único que tenemos es chicharrón, es bistec de res.
Oh, ok.
Allá en el otro mercado piensan lo que tú quieres, ¿eh?
Ninguna persona aquí tiene...
No, pero en el otro mercadito pasas aquí en el portal y está el otro mercadito.
Oh, ok.
Aquí hacen todo lo que tú quieres.
Ok, gracias.
Gracias.
Despáchale, viejo.
So she was actually really helpful to say that on this side probably no one has chicken, which Alan is craving for breakfast this morning. But if we keep going, there's another market and they will have everything.
Al primero, ¿qué salsa le pongo? La verde pica, la roja no.
Dos rojas, por favor. Gracias.
De nada.
Walking around this market, a crowd never lies. There are only 2 seats left here at El Huarache Veloz, and we were looking for something light, so this is perfect for us. So Huaraches, I think, are actually from Mexico City originally, and they are corn-based and basically like an oval tortilla that is deep fried. It's deep fried a little bit, which is suave, or you can also get really crispy. We went for the suave. Lots of toppings here. Basically every kind of meat or non-meat, like mushrooms that you can get. You choose if you want the slightly less red salsa, which we chose, or the spicier green sauce. And then on top you also can get cheese and some onion. It looks fantastic. It's actually bigger than we expected. Alan, as they were piling his with like tons of chicken, he was like, oh, I don't know if I'm that hungry. Mine is chicharron prensado, which is like pork trimmings and pork rinds mixed together. Very like soft and tasty. This is delicious. Now we got the suave, but I see everyone else got the crispy, and that means that you can actually pick it up. Whereas this one, the technique needs to be like you just slide it off your plate, or you're gonna slide it onto your lap. Regardless, it is delicious.
So for me, maybe this is depend on people's stomach.
Yeah.
I chose this one, the soft one.
Yeah.
So your stomach can accept whenever it's this. When you eat the crackers one, it's hard in your
It's
stomach.
also more deep fried. I think they fry it twice, so it's a little bit more greasy.
It's easy to finish. To
Yeah,
eat.
it's nice and soft.
To eat it.
A little bit of morning music. I have to say, I think the accordion is like an underappreciated instrument. When it's done well, it's really great. These 2 guys are really nice. Oh, good. A nice light chicharron breakfast, and they were only 60 each. The two girls working there were so sweet. Now on the second half of this market, there's like a little bit of a plaza that sells kind of a little bit of everything. And Alan has been looking for a patch for his bag, so we thought, let's just take a quick spin through here. Oh, it's a good place if you need just random things. They seem to have them, and probably at a really good price. Those batteries at 40, I was shocked. And they have Fast and the Furious cars. Buen día. So, the sun has come out. If you're traveling in central Mexico, you definitely need to wear layers. I had a big sweater on this morning because mornings are very cold. As soon as the sun comes out, it gets very hot, at least here in November. And then as soon as the sun goes away, again, it gets very cold. We could have stayed at that market forever and just looked at lots of different things, but we're heading to a neighborhood called Guadalupe. Now, what's interesting about San Miguel de Allende is that there is no street art in the street because it is designated as a World Heritage Site as of 2008. And that means they can't alter the buildings, the sides, anything like that. But it's not the whole city. And so this neighborhood, Guadalupe, is supposed to have some really great street art. And it's also not too far away from us. So that's where we're going right now. Oh, look at this church. Also, look at Alan. This is what it's like traveling with an Indonesian. I'm hot. He has a toque on, a fleece jacket, pants, shoes.
Complete.
He's complete, and he probably will keep that on most of the day.
And I'm cold.
You're cold right now. Yeah, crazy. We have two different thermostats for sure. Well, we're not even in the UNESCO spot of San Miguel de Allende, and I can say Guadalupe is absolutely beautiful. We've only seen one piece of street art, but also Alan said it's so hot. He finally took off his jacket, kept his toque on, but he suggested we go for coffee so we have energy for the day. Thankfully, according to Google reviews, one of the best spots for coffee is in this neighborhood, so we're gonna go check it out. Oh no, it's closed. It's Monday. Okay, this is supposed to be the best coffee, La Café de la Mancha, but not open on Mondays. I guess I could have kept my polarizer on. It's so nice. Dos personas. Él viene de Asia, no habla español.
Ah, y solo, ¿qué idioma habla?
De Indonesia, su propio. Sí, sí. Y, no, en inglés también.
Inglés, sí.
Sí, sí.
Ah, okay. ¿Y
Yeah.
español?
Un poco. Él está aprendiendo. All right, so even though this is not technically on Google reviews as the best, I'm sure people say the best about here too because they have every kind of coffee. They also have AeroPress, French press, V60, lots of different kinds of milk, and then also you can pay $5 more for a biodegradable cup if you're doing takeaway. That looks great. Now, when we travel, which is all the time, Alan is content that I make all the plans for the day and he's along for the ride. But he gets to interject or veto things. And he usually has a pretty good suggestion, and today's coffee, much needed. Being in this courtyard is so lovely and cool. There are not a lot of trees walking up here, and it could use some more because it's very hot out, it's noon. I got a cold brew, Alan got a latte, and both were $70. Now, that is pricey, but it's pretty much the standard in Mexico. So I think that, especially for cold brew, it's worth it. And agave syrup. Walking around Colonia Guadalupe is beautiful. There's so much artwork all around this neighborhood. Now, I wondered, when did San Miguel de Allende become so gentrified? Like, when did it explode? And I thought maybe it was when it became a Pueblo Mexico in 2002, which I think is crazy to think of it as a Pueblo Mexico because it's so well known. But then in 2008, maybe it was then, because then it became a UNESCO heritage site. But actually, people have been coming here since the mid-1900s. A lot of artists came down here, and also to Ajijic in the Chapala Lake area. And they came here because it has such beautiful soft light. It was inspiring and beautiful, quiet, and also much cheaper than home. So, you know, Americans, Canadians have been calling this area home for many, many years, almost 75 years now. And I don't know when it really kind of exploded, but it was a lot of artists that came down, and it still has that heritage here. Even walking in, we saw someone at the church who was underneath the trees just painting, and it's still very much known as a place for great handicrafts. So it's nice to see that it has kept that, and hopefully the handicrafts that we see as we go into town next keep that tradition and aren't just the generic things that you see at every other market around Mexico. Look at this, so many flowers. The flowers are beautiful right now. Well, it looks like it's a riverside, although we don't see any water, but it's actually a really nice shady walk. And that was a nice time in the neighborhood, but it's 2 o'clock and we're only here for one day. So we're going to go to a spot that's very popular here, and I hope it's open on Monday. Now, this is probably one of the most popular things to do in San Miguel de Allende, and that is to visit La Aurora, which was a former textile factory, I think, and now it's been converted into a place where you can see lots of different arts and crafts and artisans. Look at this, I think it's still from the factory. Overall, I think this place is interesting if you're looking to buy art. We are not. Or if you want to home shop, take home souvenirs, which we are not. I did think the part of it being a factory was actually really interesting, the most interesting, but I think it's time for us to move on. It's nice, I can see why a lot of people love it, but not quite our thing. And we finally made it into Centro. Now, this city was first founded in 1542, the same year that Columbus sailed the ocean blue. There's actually behind me a monument to him, which is interesting. Prominent figure in Spanish history, not my favorite in history, but certainly prominent to them. And it was really founded, the city, because it was on the route from the Zacatecas to Mexico City for trading silver. Now, it wasn't always called this, but was renamed to honor Ignacio Allende, who is a hero in the fight for independence. And actually, the city was the first city in Mexico to be liberated, to gain its independence, which is very interesting. There's so much history around us, and so we're hoping to walk around and feel some of that, because in Guanajuato, you can really feel that. Today, I think actually might be Independence Day, because so much has been closed. It's a Monday, but I think actually it might be the Independence holiday. All right, I'm starting to feel it. I was feeling not great when we got to Centro, especially when we first arrived, but I feel it. I feel what people are liking about the city. I mean, I think when you don't know where to go, you should always go to the main plaza, and the reason I came here was to see this. Oh, the sun is out, and this is amazing. Now, one of the things I wanted to see the most is the same reason everyone else is here, and that is the most photographed church in Mexico. what is so interesting about this is that it didn't always look like this. It was first built in 1709 and it had a very modest look. But in 1890, they decided they wanted to have something a little bit more. And instead of hiring an architect, they actually hired a local stone mason. And he was inspired by sketches and postcards that he saw of cathedrals in Europe. And so some of the elements here will look very familiar. He used a lot of Gothic lines, but also local design. And then he did it in this gorgeous pink stone that really makes it stand out. It is unlike any other church you will find in Mexico. It's pretty spectacular. I'm a lapsed Catholic, like most Catholics in Canada, but even for me, you look at it, you have to say like, wow.
Alejándose de mi alma.
Overall thoughts of San Miguel de Allende, it was actually better than I thought. I had a really nice time at the market this morning, and then actually up in the plaza was great. Now, there were several landmark places that I wanted to go to, a cultural house, another very important landmark, and they were closed today. I did not realize that today was actually an Independence Day, and I guess they were celebrating it with San Miguel de Allende being the first city of independence. I would have thought there would have been bigger things happening, but maybe that happened this weekend. Anyway, I would say I like it here, but if I were to come back, I would actually hire a guide because I was just looking to get a little bit more substance to it. And that was because we walked around, and in these kinds of cases, I think a guide really helps. In the next video, we are going to be in Mexico City. Now, I didn't bring Alan to Mexico City when he landed because I thought it would be too overwhelming for him. But after 5 months in Mexico, I think he's ready for it. I guess you'll find out in the next video, and so will I. See you then.